SFJ 4x4 Studios presents
in my oversized four-wheel drive Jeep.
a Jeep podcast starring industry experts.
Pure monosity. What? Say that again.
With mad scientist Scott Brown,
Use my drill press as a sword of blade.
our host Neil Simpson,
If one light goes out, they all go out.
filled with shenanigans.
We are really professional with Jeeps.
This is I Speak Jeep.
I think you copied me.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever, however. This is the I Speak Jeep podcast. I am your host, Neil, with SFJ4x4.com of Simpson Family Jeeps. And my esteemed colleague, I messed myself up.
You
I
did.
was going.
Yeah.
Best friend, worker of many trades, work wife.
Mad
What,
scientist
you don't know
Scott
your name?
Brown.
There you go.
I didn't know if you were done. You just kept
Oh,
going.
well, I was just vamping there.
and today I was front axle bearing installer guy.
And official tour guide.
tour guide.
You were the best docent, though. I think that
I'm not using that word. I don't know what that means.
Oh, okay.
We should do a Jeepinary, like a dictionary, but for Jeeps.
Okay. You remember when Beth had that on the back of that red card?
Yes.
We could
bring that back.
We should bring that back. That's a successful piece. Oh, look, I found a pen. Like somebody had prepared me. I reached over and I stole Jeffrey the Italian Stallion's pen. Not that
No,
he
you
has
give it
anything to
back.
write over there. I gave
He's
it
already
back.
trying to
That was
steal
your
his
work
drink
wife.
this morning.
Oh, thank you for giving me a pen.
Yeah.
So I can just
And
hold
make
on
sure
to
you have a
something.
chair because you
Yes.
keep stealing it.
Well, I like it for my standing station.
Mm-hmm.
Let's figure that one out. Folks, this is episode number 24 of the I Speak Jeep podcast here at the SFJ 4x4 podcast and TV studios. We are live on Facebook if you'd like to join us and join in the conversation. We do appreciate people, sharing and commenting and interacting with the show, but you can also catch us on Fridays up on the old YouTube. And of course, we go live on your favorite streaming platform every Wednesday. So we appreciate everybody's support and interaction. We've got a lot of very cool things going on these days, and so we're excited to share with you what that is. Today, we're going to be talking about this is segment 3 because Scott and I are children. And segment 3 of engines. So we did the no replacement for displacement.
Or is there?
And that took us into a conversation about engines, both past, present.
And we might get the future sometime. Someday.
Yeah, we're not organized enough for that. So we'll be talking about we just crested into the
early 2000s.
into the early 2000s in
Yeah.
our last conversation. So, folks, if you missed the last 2 or 3 episodes, you'll want to go back and hear our conversation. We get really excited about vintage engines,
Yes.
but shoved that into one segment.
Yep.
And then we talked at length, pretty much too long, about 4.0s.
Yep. That was pretty much the whole podcast last week.
I could probably do about 10 sessions on 4.0s because don't forget, I'm a big stroker fan, and we didn't
Yeah.
even get into.
Yeah, we even touch on that.
We didn't even touch on strokers
No.
and crank stroke measurements and
and let us know if that's something you would like us to rattle on about and incessantly too long of. We'd be glad to.
we would be too excited to talk about. I've really appreciated everybody who's reached out, and just last week we had somebody call in from Indiana and say that they put on the podcast in their office space. And those folks all sit around and listen to it, and then
It's awesome.
it is awesome, and we appreciate those
and
people
hi,
listening.
if you're
there.
listening today.
Yeah, and hi. And we've got, I like to say we're the fastest rising, certainly Jeep and off-road talk show podcast on iTunes. So we're been cresting in the upper numbers there. So big thank you if you are joining us on one of those, streaming podcast sites, which is very cool.
Would this be a good part to show the exciting new thing we got made?
Do you want to tease on that? Do you want to
I
tease?
think we should tease.
We can tease on that. All right. Well, here, I'll hand you one.
Yep.
And I'll take one.
Yep.
And so in front of us is the exclusive new I Speak Jeep podcast caricature sticker, right? So it's kind of wow.
Yeah, if you need, you might keep mice away or scare anybody, you can get one of these.
Yes,
And Dave says they are in on The Office.
Hey,
Awesome.
Dave. Hello. Good morning to you and your office, folks. So this is a very cool sticker. We'll talk about this in a little bit. This is a way to show those around you just how serious you are about the I Speak Jeep podcast and all things auto and Jeep truck off-road related. And so we'll be talking about that just a little bit more here. And then we're going to do a product spotlight, but between us, as we van a white hand,
Not sponsored.
hashtag not sponsored segment, we will be talking about rock hard 4x4. So specifically a product that we've done a couple different installs of recently. One that our producer, Jeff, the Italian Stallion, recently installed on his Jeep over the weekend. He took quite a few detailed pictures.
Yep.
It was about an hour and a quarter book install. Took him about 6 hours because his wife tried talking to him throughout the whole process, and he was trying to take pictures. So,
Yes. And in perfect Neil fashion, you showed up after all the hard work was done.
Oh.
well, that's how we've arrived. Wow, Jeff, that's a good blow to the ego where I'm at this weekend. Folks forget that I used to sleep in the floor of the trailer at shows. Sleep on the, and then I'd wake up and try to make my face pretty and go stand in the beat sun for hours doing how-to clinics and selling product. But that's okay. I showed up right at the end where the hard work was done. All right. Anywho,
So what'd you do over the weekend?
I had a very thoroughly busy weekend. I finally came out of hibernation, and I decided to touch several things.
I gathered by what I saw, sprinkled around the shop. Was I think he was cleaning this weekend and organizing.
I was cleaning and organizing. I got all excited on that. And I bought tools of organizing for our facility for pretty much every department.
All the
right?
things.
All the things.
Yes.
We're going to be very organized. So we did. I bought organizing stuff for as we build out some of our more custom steering, as we do some of the PSC hydraulic lines, some hardware, right? So nice storage pack out containers.
Yep. So now we can lose the whole box, not just one.
All right. So I'm really hopeful that we will be able to hold on to a case this big, that's bright yellow and black.
Definitely.
I was disappointed by the color choice, but
Steelers colors.
and that is why I'm all the more disappointed in the
love
color
it.
choice. Thank you, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
And
I can't tell just from Erie.
no, yeah. So we did. I did do some of that with intention to clean and organize. I did work on the camp shack.
That's good.
So did a continued big full day of working on the roof and tarping and getting it prepared because it's now almost fully gutted to the subfloor.
Yep.
So it's very interesting and exciting. And then I finally touched not one but two four-wheelers over the weekend.
Ooh. It's getting that time of year where you might want to use one.
Well, right. And of course, because I am so highly motivated by my children, my son was texting me through his oh, thanks, Trish. Morning. She says, you guys are doing great work. Such a great company. Thank you so much. We really do appreciate those kind words. So my son texted me through my mother-in-law's phone and was like, can I use the four-wheeler? Which, of course, is that 110 import quad that
hasn't been shown any love since last year.
No. And of course, it has an electrical issue because, I don't know, you can buy the entire wiring harness on Amazon for $30.
And you shouldn't do that. I did that. It's not good.
I know, but I can't find where I can buy quality parts for that
Yeah,
thing.
you can't.
Wow, see, that's my struggle.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then I finally went to touch the bearings on the big quad.
On the Yamaha.
On the Yami. And I think I need a blind hole puller.
Like the one we have on the shelf over there.
Yeah.
But
which
it wasn't where you were at.
that wasn't where I was,
No.
right? So there's a bearing squarely recessed. And I thought about this over the weekend, that to do what we do at SFJ versus how others do things, right? Because I
Yeah.
looked at this, and the bearing race was squarely stuck in its home, right?
Yep.
It's probably the original race
Guarantee it.
from 40 years ago,
Yep.
and I that race was not worn terribly, but you could see
We're going through the reckoning at this point.
you could right the rationalization, right? So I have these brand new high quality bearings for the swing arm.
Yes.
And folks, this is applicable to your Jeeps or your truck or anything like that, because bearings are bearings.
Yep.
And a bearing is a press fit item, and it has a very specific set of roller bearings and a cage, and then it seats into.
I actually just went through this with the transmission I just did for hashtag not a restoration.
Okay.
I got in there. Everything looked really nice. Most people would have drained it, put fresh fluid in it, and off to the races.
Exactly.
And I tore it completely apart, inspected all the parts, and I found one of the shafts, and the part that's very hard to get out and get back together was really worn, but everything looked really good on top. So right there is, you do the job all
So
the
you
way.
put the brakes on, right?
Yep.
We put the brakes on. We communicated to the customer that,
Bought the part.
hey, this is the issue. We bought the part. It takes longer.
Yep.
But
But it's done right.
And it's done right. And so here
Yep.
I am with this. I mean, I think I traded. I don't remember what. I know you helped broker that deal for this 89 Moto 4 250. Folks, this is not like, a spectacular quad, but I love it.
Yep.
And it came to me in my life at a time where I needed it, and my son and I were able to adventure into the unexplored backwoods.
Yep.
And so now it's at a point, it needs a little bit of love. It's been on one of my workbenches for a year, a little less. And there's this one bearing. And I thought to myself, I have these brand new bearings. They're ready to rock and roll. I could put this swing arm back together. But I know that bearing race, so we have the cup and the cone, and that's considered the cup or the bearing race, is never going to be right. So now I've just taken a brand new bearing and I've stuck it in a less than desirable location in a race. And well, the likelihood of, as that swing arm travels through its range of motion, something else is going to break before that bearing ever wears out.
Yep.
But it's not right.
Yep.
And so, well, you know what I do? I put the brakes on.
Yep.
Put the brakes on. I thought, okay, I need to get the blind hole puller and get this bearing race out.
Yep.
And that was a little defeating, but I did do a lot of electrical diagnosis on that little import quad, and gonna have to figure that out.
Yep.
So I actually had a very full weekend and really, and then I did a ton of laundry. I have like bags of clothes that I'm like gifting of, that we've grown out of. The kids
my
have grown
wife
out
is doing that as well this weekend.
It's a good weekend for it. So
Yes.
what
No more Neil or Scott.
you got clothes?
I keep finding random bags of clothes in my Jeep.
Well, Scott's gonna have some in his Jeep too that we're passing along. That's
You might
what
have to-
family does,
you
right?
might have
Whether
to start
related
locking
by
your Jeep
blood or
if You
not.
don't want any.
Customers are going to start pulling in, and we're going to be sending like bags of like, I swear this is good clothes. I don't want to throw it away.
Yes.
Kids
grow too fast.
Kids grow too fast.
Yes.
Yes, customers are going to be taking bags of clothes home with them.
Yes.
Oh, gracious. All right. So I saw a lot of stuff going on the 36.
I did. I was wrestling with what part or what tool to buy and how do I do this, and I looked up.
I saw Fred. Fred was with us in spirit
yes, he
again.
was.
Okay.
Keep the gift that keeps giving.
Yes,
is my
without a
dad.
doubt.
I don't remember if I talked about the Subrails last week or not, but you'll get a little recap if I did. Subrail on these early Fords is the main part of the body that goes on the frame. So basically, it's the structure the body is built on, and mine at the very tail end, last foot of it was really rusty from like 3 pieces of metal and 86 years of moisture.
Yes.
So I cut that all out, and I looked up, and you can actually buy that part for a 36, but you can buy it for a 40 Ford, which is very similar.
Okay.
But they want $500 a side,
Yikes.
so I wasn't doing that. And
Yikes.
so I went through the grieving process where I was like, oh, yay, I found the part. Oh my God, that's expensive and probably, a month lead time.
Yes.
And I don't want to wait that
And
long.
what's the origin of the steel that it was made of, too, would be the question.
I have no idea.
Okay,
So,
right.
so I,
Right.
My wife at this point, she's just a big cheerleader for me. And she's like, well, just make it then. And I was like, but there's all these complications to do that. And she's like,
Amen. Good job, Amy.
you can figure it out. So I got out a piece of steel because I'm a hoarder and I don't throw stuff away. And it was a brand new piece of steel that was broke on one edge, which means it was bent 90 degrees.
Yeah, when it's broken, it's not actually...
It's not actually broken.
It's not physically, unusable. It means it's actually got a bend to it.
And she had helped me or empowered me to buy some body hammers a little while ago. That's something I am new to.
Because you're new to being a body man.
Yes.
That's not...
frame stuff, no problem. Banging panels
Right,
around.
structural metal and whatnot as far as big heavy gauge, frame stuff.
Yep.
But body man is not something that's
Not
been
something
a great
I've
skill
done.
set we've possessed.
So I got in that. I started bending metal around and really happy with how it came out. I made as close as I could make a copy of it. If you go on my Instagram, you'll see some pictures of that. I'm actually pretty proud of that piece, how it came out. So then one of the layers is the floor, and I don't need to do the whole floor, just a little patch. And I had in my head, I wanted to do it a certain way, and I'm bullheaded sometimes. So
okay, you chose the path of most resistance.
Most resistance. I wanted it to
Welcome
be a
to
certain
SFJ
way.
4x4.
Yep. And I could have cut it 100 times and bent it and then welded up all those little cuts and had work hardened the material and all that kind of stuff. And it would have worked and you would have never seen it. But I didn't like that. And my dad had bought this shrinker stretcher that has been around my entire life. And only thing I can remember is that the one part had broken. And when my dad passed, I hauled it home and it's been sitting on my shelf. So I went over to the shelf and I was like, and blew this dust cloud off of it and oiled it up so it actually, would work again because it's just been sitting there for
absolutely
15 years.
15 years.
And I had stretching dies. I was like, I'll play with this. It's amazing.
Ooh.
It is had a religious experience right there at the Vice. And I realized what broke was the shrinking dies. Well, when your floor does this, you need to do both. So I looked up dies and they're expensive. And actually is about as much as a Harbor Freight complete tool is.
Isn't that the Harbor Freight manner? Isn't that what Harbor Freight does?
And I watched some reviews, I watched some other YouTube videos, and pretty much knew what I was getting myself into. But then you go into denial mode, and I was like, I can figure
But Harbor
that out.
Freight, it's so close.
It's close.
And it's available.
But I was mad because ours local one hasn't opened yet.
I know, they're dragging their feet.
They're dragging their feet. Come on, guys. You
That's
got
right.
to sign up. There's people in the parking lot. Why can't I go buy my parts? So I drove to Erie and I bought one. I came home. They are right. It doesn't work. So I Scott Brown the jaws from that into my dad's, and that does work.
Nice.
And I made my panels and I got them.
So what I hear is you bought a parts
jaws.
You bought a parts tool.
But in pure
brand
brown,
new. You bought a brand new parts tool.
Yes, but in brown fashion. I don't like using those. Don't fit quite right. So I'm probably going to buy the right ones for that tool that my dad had and return the other ones at this point.
You rented it from Harbor Freight.
Because I'm impatient.
Don't listen to that part, Harbor Freight. Listen to the open up already.
Fix your tool
so that
it
we
works.
can.
It's $200. It should work.
Oh, that's
It's
an
not
expensive.
yeah.
That's not one of their cheapos.
It should work.
I remember
At
years
least a
ago.
little bit.
I bought a Harbor Freight grinder for a singular job, and it was one of those things you got a coupon, and I think it was
It's like $12.
It was like $12.
That's
and,
okay. When you
and
use
of
it
course,
once, it burns up.
And
okay.
we used it on one job, and
Yeah.
I honestly, because of the way, if you've ever worked with me as I build out build sheets and cost of goods and all that kind of stuff, I literally built that that grinder into the job.
Yeah, of course you did.
When we parted out a specific Jeep years ago, yes, I made sure that was part of our cost of goods.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
it was
funny.
not fun going to shows really with this guy because I had a cheeseburger.
If
That's
you
part
ate a
of it.
cheeseburger, that's getting accounted for.
Yes. It's taking all the fun out of it.
Yeah, that's true. We'd go salvage a Jeep out of somebody's backyard, and
Yeah.
I'd be tracking.
Yeah, I ripped my shoe, and I got to put a pair of tennis shoes on that bill.
That's right. That's right. That happened. That happened on the task.
Yep.
Oh man, that's so funny. Well, that's why I wheeled so often shoeless and shirtless
Yeah,
and
it's
all that
true.
kind of stuff. Try to get that image out of your head. All right. So
Next year, maybe that's the next sticker idea.
oh my goodness. Folks, we are going to do some cool t-shirts as well. So not only are we going to be doing the sticker, and as a means, if you're watching, you're listening, if you're joining us on streaming or on YouTube, again, we fully appreciate it. It's important to note that we are taking time out of our dedicated workday. We appreciate our customers like Trish, who have vehicles here, who are patiently waiting for parts to come in and for the vehicles to get serviced. And so we are a high functioning business, and yet, this podcast is very popular. People seem to appreciate it. We are passionate about doing it. We're not going to be doing like a typical like Patreon or any type of some of the other donation based services that you'll see other similar media type outlets doing. But one of the fun things with this sticker, specifically the sticker, and then we're going to launch an idea of a t-shirt, a little contest. We want to sell this sticker, and we're going to be selling the sticker for $4.19. And so twofold. One, you're going to be able to have the bragging rights to sell, to tell your friends.
And these are limited. We didn't do a whole ton of them.
That's absolutely correct. This is a limited production. We did order in our traditional, SFJ stickers, our other big, our big vinyl, like a little Jeep guy. We ordered all of those in. This is actually a very limited run of stickers. And the idea here, folks, is that you are able to. I see shirts dancing all over the screen.
That's not live yet.
Okay.
Well, this shouldn't be. I don't know if it is.
So this sticker is a way. It is a full vinyl. It can be displayed on the outside of your vehicle. I don't know that you want our ugly mugs on the outside of your vehicle, but
it'll keep the mice away for sure.
It'll keep other people on the trail away, looking at our faces. But if you want to put it on a laptop, your beer fridge, your signature coffee cup that makes the rounds with us, I need to find a place. Probably right, like an open spot. I don't know where the camera, or open spot, like right there, where I'll throw one of these stickers on, and add it to your collection. So $4.19 is going to be the cost of that sticker. We will mail it to you. So if you'd like to message the Facebook page, eventually we'll put them up. If we have enough that makes sense for us to put them up on the website, we could put them up on the website, and you could just check out right then and there. And we will, that is shipping included. We'll ship it to you at $4.19. And please support our show here by purchasing the sticker. Now,
I see Chuck's already interested in one.
All right, Chuck, thank you. Yes, we'd love to pass that along to you. Also, if you buy some of our gear online right now for the month of May, over $41 of SFJ gear.
We're trying to do fun things with numbers.
No. Me?
Never.
And so over $41 of gear, and you're getting that sticker for free. Okay? So you can either just buy the sticker and represent, and we would love for that to be the case, or you can buy $41 worth of gear in the month of May, and that sticker's coming for free as well. So check those out. Folks, we are going to do a limited run t-shirt, right? And we'd like to have this t-shirt on display, on sale for the summer as we get ready to head out into the show season and be at your favorite local wheeling events. And so we have 3 specific designs that we are putting out to you, our listeners, our customers, our friends, our family, to help us decide which design. And so we're going to reveal that today on air here. And so those of you who are joining us, you're going to be the first shot of that. And then we'll eventually put a poll out on our social. And one of these shirts will be made for this summer. so that you can purchase that shirt, and then you'll obviously get an opportunity to purchase it here through the podcast. So Jeffrey, is that ready to rock and roll?
If you're ready to reveal it,
We're ready to reveal.
there it is.
All right. So we have 3 different designs of varying degrees. I think they're all really cool. They're not exactly going to be on a yellow shirt, and that's what's important to note. Our goal here is to create a simple, clean design to make it affordable for you in the long run, and that it can be made ideally on any color shirt. So that if you have a blue, say you have a hydro blue Jeep like Jeff the Italian Stallion does, then you might want to get this design made on a blue shirt. Or if you have a yellow Jeep or a white Jeep or whatever. That's our goal here, is that we can create a simple, clean, shirt that benefits you and your ability to represent out in the big world. And yes, Chuck, I know you're partial to the yellow, so I'm glad that you're watching today.
And he's even selecting number 3 as his vote.
His vote. And number 3 is cool because it actually has the big hand wave on the back. So some neat stuff going on there. So you saw it here first. So stickers, please support us in the month of May. Over $41 in gear, and you're getting a sticker for free. And then the big shirt reveal, so that we can have a production shirt for the road this summer. All right, that's enough of me talking.
We'll get the link for the poll up in the comments here shortly, and then we'll put it out on social media as well.
Yes, and we'll e-blast that out to folks whose emails we have, and maybe a YouTube poll additionally. And we'll try and compile all that information to see where these shirts come in. But you get to choose what we produce.
Yeah.
All right. Jeffrey, do you want to take a quick commercial break? Talk about that gear that they can buy?
Sure.
Awesome. Hey, Jeep family, we hope that you're enjoying this content, and we want to make sure that you head over to sfj4x4.com, find some of this cool merchandise, give us a call at our facility, 440-813-3663. Option 1. And make sure that you tune in to our live podcast every Monday at 10:19 a.m. and check out our updates on YouTube on Tuesdays and Fridays. Until then, Jeep on. Are we back?
And
Are we
we
back?
We are.
And there we are. So, Mad Scientist, what are we talking about?
We're talking about the late 2000 or early 2000 motors, I believe.
I don't know if I can talk about this maturely. Just
With the 3.8. I had to rip the Band-Aid off. And there's a lot of people that swear it's a good engine.
we have a customer right now who has a 300,000 mile 3.8.
Yep. It's out of a 08 or in an 08 JK. That
Bone
looks
stock.
looks brand new.
Looks brand new.
Yep.
He has 300. Let that sink in. I mean, 300,000 miles on a 3.8. And I think
Maintenance
that
is important, people.
maintenance is important, and I think that that's his thing is he's meticulous.
He is very meticulous. He was bringing up things on his 08 that I was like, my 15's worse than that is. And I just ignore that. He's like, my headlight's a little hazy. Yep, they do that.
It's a 2008. I'm
Yeah,
glad that
it's still
you're
got a
you're
headlight.
just running into that now. I mean,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
JK hinges, they blister like crazy. And he's like, I just got these little tiny bubbles on my hinges. I was like, yeah, don't go look at mine. Mine are worse.
Yeah. Or, we'll take that further. The mall crawler is actually blistering already,
Oh,
and that's
yeah.
a JL.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And that's probably not going to get fixed anytime soon.
no, no. Though, I mean, so what we're doing with this individual is we are doing the Kentrol black stainless steel hinges,
As he should.
As
and
he
I should too.
and he's doing everything. He's doing everything. He's not,
Yep.
he's doing it right.
Yep. And that's why his Jeep looks like it does. And we all make excuses, me included. I got a hemorrhaging money on an early Ford, so I can't take the $300 and put it in my my JK to make it look nice.
Yes, and I'm hemorrhaging money because my wife and I thought that after starting a company,
We should
building
build a house
crazy Jeeps,
and
that
then build it from scratch.
and we
basically.
should build a house from scratch on a
Yes.
piece of property that has been a derelict
That's never
hayfield for
had
50
a house
years.
on it before.
Why do I make such poor decisions? I just
Why am
They
I
make good
fixing an
stories?
86-year-old?
they make good stories. Thank you, Jeffrey, and that is.
Ah.
That is, I'm full of them. I got character for days,
and
right?
like-
Builds character. I think that's the problem. When I was a kid,
Yeah.
my family was like, "Well, eat your onions. It puts hair on your chest." Like as a
Okay.
kid, why did you want that? And then, like my family, that was my family's encouragement. Or
I got
oh,
told eat carrots; they'll make you see well. It
didn't
help.
help
No,
you
it
at all. Coke bottle glasses didn't help you at all.
No.
Build character building. That's what my parents chalked everything up to.
Yes.
You know, but I don't want to do this. That's character building.
Yes.
Wow, good. I'm full of character. All right, so 3.8 motors also full of character.
Yes.
They're a minivan motor.
They
Folks,
are.
They're a minivan motor. There's nothing you can tell me. The 2.4 that I also absolutely despise is a Dodge Neon motor.
Yes.
We can. They have a very successful YouTube video, and I'll just, it is what it is. It's called It's not called polishing a turd, but the idea is that. That there's individuals out here who can kind of upsell what they're doing. And that particular video is basically somebody bought a TJ Wrangler on a buy here, pay here lot. And I then pick it apart and show why it was not a good Jeep.
Yeah.
These engines, the 2.4 or the 3.8, in my opinion, are the same equivalency.
Yeah. 2.4 is much worse than the 3.8 is.
All right, so then that's aside. We were supposed to talk about that last week, and we just let it go.
Yeah.
Even though we actually have quite a few customers right now, and I could step this back. We have a number of customers who have 2.4 engines that we are working on at this exact moment. We're making them the best they can be,
Yes.
and that's important to
It's just like the
keep in
hinges.
perspective.
You got to keep after it. You got to keep up on it. Most 3.8s like the leak. The one with 300,000 miles, he referenced that he has regasketed the entire engine. Well, you have to do that.
And we've done that for a couple customers.
And you can't be like me where you ignore the blistering hinges or the leaking oil, and
Why?
and you got to fix
Why?
that. So that's how you keep it.
If I
in
just don't pay
tip-top shape.
attention to it, it's not happening.
Yeah, turn the radio up. I remember that was my father-in-law's
Turn the
method
radio up.
to fixing my wife's 91 XJ.
God
Turn the
rest
radio
him as
up.
well. It was a lot of things that was
Yes.
It was an amazing man, but
Yes.
yeah, turn the radio up was a number of things.
Yes.
So the 3.8 motor is they basically
It was
Chrysler was
actually
sitting
a
around.
very long running minivan
Very
engine.
successful minivan engine. So we
Yes.
had the 4.0 success, coming out of the late 80s, and we saw just under 20 years of production run.
And honestly, I
of
think
that.
it was partially Chrysler going, we got such a cool motor and it's just going to go on forever. And they were kind of in denial. And then all the came down on it and said, you can't use that engine anymore. It does too much emissions.
The
and stuff.
4.0. The 4.0 you're talking about.
So they're
Yes.
like, oh,
we got to do
crud.
something.
we need to do something. And V6, we talked about this a little bit. Their shorter motors are a lot smaller package. They fit a lot better
They fit
into
well.
the front of the vehicle, give you more space in the interior. So it makes sense for a lot of reasons. And I think they were just like, well, we've used this motor forever. And
Do we know how old? Do we know the lineage of the 3.8 by any chance? Dodge Grand Caravan
yes.
specifically was the one
so
that
there was a 3.3 and then it became a 3.8.
I feel like the 3.3 was in like 91, 92, somewhere in there. Do we know that?
It's similar-ish. That's where it gets its start. It is a 60-degree style V6, which other manufacturers are awful dabbled in, which is the angle of the heads to the block. They're really narrow engine.
So with that said, and this is as mechanically inclined individuals, especially from a highly functional standpoint, we oftentimes jokingly are correcting things that were engineered poorly in the first place.
Yes.
Now, with that said, Scott actually has a professional degree or background in a level of engineering.
Yep.
And as does your wife, I believe, right?
Yes.
And so these are incredibly gifted individuals who have an engineer's mind. And I, as what I've done over the years, have talked to a number of people in engineering, and I have a great deal of respect for what those people bring to the table. Likewise, despite the fact that I will be the first person to fuss about bean counters at the highest levels of manufacturing, I do believe the engineers for auto manufacturers have the best of intentions.
They do. They want it to be the best product it can be, and then at some point they are reined back. But the 3.8 was an old design. It is a push rod V6, and
But
it was used for many years before. it
My
was used
contention
in the
with the
Wrangler.
3.8 is that it was meant to be mounted. Yay. Okay.
It does make some challenging working on because it's moved the wrong direction.
So, and I'm going to reference the 2.4 because, again, in my mind, they're inherently linked. Both the 2.4 and the 3.8 were actually meant to run, if we were to say from driver side to passenger side is horizontal, they
Mhm.
were meant to run horizontally. They were engineered at its very core of creation, was engineered to be placed in a front wheel drive vehicle.
Yep.
Would you agree?
I would agree.
And so inherently, an engineer who sets out to develop the best possible product when we're talking about a rear wheel drive vehicle, meaning a engine that, if we're talking from nose to snout or headlight to tail light, is vertical, which I know those are not my appropriate XY axes, your traditional 4.0 and then eventually your 3.6 were actually engineered.
Well, the 3.6 I feel is a little different because
Okay,
they actually
tell me
designed
about
it to be both. The 3.8 I don't think was ever
Switch hitter.
intended
Switch hitter.
at the beginning to be a
A
north-south
rear wheel drive, headlight,
direction.
tail light.
Yes. So I think that's the problem is we had this old design. It worked great. Lots of people, like I know a bunch of people that had many a Grand Caravan or Town and Country with the 3.8.
Walt
and
isn't watching us.
swear
Walt isn't
by
watching
them.
us. You don't have to say that, but he
loves those
loves
motors.
those. He will tell you that is
He's
the
put
best.
hundreds of thousands of miles on them.
Hundreds of thousand miles on those, and then he went out and bought a vintage Grand Caravan.
He actually has broken down and bought a newer one at this
Oh,
point.
has he? Okay.
He has.
Okay.
And I think it's a 3.6, and he was grumbling about
that newfangled
overhead
technology.
cam
He's a
stuff and stuff.
great dude.
Anyway,
The 3.8 was push rod, so we'll swing back to that.
yeah, and part of what I'm gonna hit at is Gasket Technology. What it was in the 99 era or 90s is nowhere near what it is today, and we see that with like LS motors. They have far superior gasket technology than a small block Chevy.
Yes.
Just because small block Chevy was designed in '55, and we just kept building it. And that's the similar thing with the 3.8. It was built to standards in the early '90s, and everything was as good as it could be. And then it went through some changes where it got rid of the aluminum intake and it got a plastic intake. Kind of kept up with the things, but the technology for gasketing did not really increase.
Evolved from there.
So we're seeing, and back then, if you had 100,000, 150,000 miles on a car, it was doing something.
That's its lifespan.
It was its lifespan. It was tired. It was rusted out. It was ready to go bye-bye. Suddenly today, 300, 400,000 miles is not actually uncommon.
Sure.
It used to be touted as this huge accomplishment. I remember cars getting put in museums because they had high mileage.
Yes.
Certificates.
Valvoline, all the oil companies were very
yeah.
proud of their high mileage vehicles.
So at this point, we have a gasket that was designed for at best 100,000 miles, and that's at its maximum, really. And so at 60, 70, 80K, your motor's leaking from every orifice because that gasket is just tired and done. It has done so many heat cycles. It is not sealing anymore. And that, that and EGR placement are the two biggest crux issues with 3.8s. And you got to keep you got to keep oil in an engine to be good.
Well, and that's we read Adam's response to us real quick. That was my big issue is that the turn the radio up louder mentality.
Yes.
Unfortunately, also applies to add a little bit more oil to it, or and then jokingly with how we do things in Jeeps, if it's not leaking, when it's not leaking, that's the problem.
And actually, I'll touch on this.
The unfortunate reality with that is that sometimes it does leak out.
Yes.
And it causes that's when the bad things happen.
Yes.
As long as we keep it wet.
I will say that you aren't going to push your minivan as nearly as hard as we push our Jeeps. And I
And-
think that's why they don't last as much in
All
a
right.
Jeep.
All right. I'm
we
100% with you because we beat on the Jeeps.
We do not give them nice lives. We beat on them. We roll them on their side. We push them back on their wheels and then complain when they blow up. They're
Yes.
like, and I would love to see you take your Grand Caravan though. I
All
would
right.
do
So
that.
I didn't read this. So what does it say? Jeffrey, do you want to read it? Dude, Scott?
Sure.
or-
It says 3338 was in the Grand /
Town
Town
and
and Country from
Yep.
90 to 11. Great engines. No clue why they didn't last in JK. Had an 08 Grand Caravan with 350,000 on it. Put 2 heads on it. Ran diesel through it. Drove to Kingsville and back to Illinois several times with a blown head.
Yep.
And
Wow. Wow.
Never.
And then
And then
Dalton
Dalton.
responds back, what? Who beats on their daily? Yeah, Dalton, you do.
But one quick other thing on a minivan to do an EGR is like 15 minutes. It is literally right out in the open. It's easy to do. On the JK, because I did not change where it goes, it's buried against the firewall. And the best way I have found to get in to do that is you get in
get into the engine compartment. Folks, we
You
have so
cuddle
many
with the motor.
pictures of Scott physically inserted in engine compartments.
Yes.
It's not funny. Is Adam no Walt? Are they like
I
kindred
think
spirits?
they're kindred spirits.
I think they're kindred spirits. Adam then follows up and he says, towed a tandem axle mowing trailer with a big zero turn with his van. They're beasts.
Yes. They are in a minivan.
Adam,
They
I got to be
are.
honest with you. I approve of all of your choices. I sincerely and fully do. If you don't know, folks, I have a 2001 Beat Nissan Sentra that has a hitch on it.
Yes.
And
He
I will do some
appropriately tows all the time with that.
I will do some sketch activity. So yeah, good. And that's what 1.8 little 1.8
yeah.
import motor that won't
It's
die.
not been loved on at
Has
all.
not had oil in it. When it starts rattling and clacking, that's when it gets oil.
Yes.
True
Go
story,
a little
folks.
bit farther until
True
you get the oil.
you go a little further and you get the oil. True story. So we buy our bulk oil in bladder bags, and so
Yeah.
there's always a little bit
left.
left over. Okay, this is one of those character building pieces. And so some Jeeps, as we've talked about, our newer motors take 020, some take 520, some take 530.
There's somebody
old school
cringing
stuff.
right now. They know where
Take
this is going.
1040, and what I do is the Nissan gets I cut the bladder bag open and then let all of the oils mix,
Yes.
and that's the oil the Nissan gets. You'll take it and be happy with it.
I think right now would actually be a really appropriate time to cut to our blind reaction.
Oh, we have. Oh God. Okay.
Just
We'll do-
because of the conversation, I think it's very fitting. And then Adam just chimed in with his. I use my
Don't see any
V8
problem
TJ
with that.
now.
Oh, I love it. It's fun
Fun
pulling.
pulling
No sway bars. Also approve of that.
Yeah.
Also approve of that.
But yeah, let's
Blind react.
Blind reaction.
Don't wanna think about it.
Oh my God. That's.
So the Savage just actually sent this to us and said we need to make sure we're doing this right now.
Oh, boy.
Davey the Savage made sure he's pushing through on the production side.
Here we go.
Oh,
Oh boy. Oh God. Oh right. Oh, it keeps going.
Wait, that's Neil driving.
I was gonna say.
And I bet you that Buick has a 3.8 in it.
I was gonna say that Buick has a 3.8 in it. Those of you who are not watching and you're just listening through in general, what we just watched was a small fifth wheel camper, and small is relative to this conversation.
Yeah, that was at least a 17-footer.
It was at least a 17-footer dual axle
Yeah.
fifth wheel, which was
And-
precariously attached to like an S10 or Ford
It was a
Ranger type
bed.
Ranger bed in
That's
a
what I
fifth
do.
wheel plate. And then I know this is why I love you. Honestly, you don't even need to see it like well.
No.
You know, I have to like stare
First-
at it for like hours.
First gen Ranger.
Okay, thank you. And it's of course to a tongue. It's a tongue
Yeah.
tow.
Yeah, it was a truck. Now it's a trailer.
It was a truck. Now it's a trailer. The frame's been folded in and made into a tongue, and it is to a Ford Expedition.
Yes.
Which
97 or 98
era, right? Expedition. And then it is all that flat. So that's a triple toe right there, just so we're
and
all.
the Triton gave up in the
The
in
5.4, the 5.4 Triton spark plug is broken off in the cylinder head. Those of you who are Ford fans know exactly what I'm talking about. And
they all admit it.
right.
It's like,
And
yeah,
then
that was not
it
good.
is being towed
by a strap.
a flat toe. It's being towed by a strap by a Buick LeSabre
Yes.
of a late
or
90s
Park Avenue.
or a Park Ave.
I think it's actually a Park Ave.
Is it a Park Ave? Okay, as a proprietor, first of all, things that we can tell you is that probably has a 3.8 in it.
Yes. Your
Second
mom put a lot of those in the
Second thing I can tell you is we drove the snot out of those Buicks. And you know what? Funny enough,
they will drag their carcass to the junkyard.
my sister Jenny, who's working the front end for us right now, she actually, after my mom cast aside her Buick LeSabre because it was no longer fit or safe.
Yes.
Of course, you know,
Beth
as
got every
no,
ounce.
not Beth. No, Jenny got it.
Oh, then
Jenny
it went to
got
Beth.
it. Oh, maybe Beth had it as well. I don't know. It made its rounds that there was no longer any car. I mean, we could open up the trunk pan, or we could open up the trunk, and down through the trunk pan, you could see the ground, and that engine just kept going.
Yep.
Great motors, except for when you put them in a Jeep. All right, Art Erickson says first engine in Jilly's lasted 319,000 kilometers and could have gotten more, but headed on a big trip, so changed out. Second motor got 320,000 kilometers, and now he's on his third engine. Wow, 963,000 kilometers on the frame. What
Bless
year?
you.
What year Jeep is this? Art, tell us what year Jeep. That's spectacular.
Yeah. That needs to be in a museum.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That's fantastic. All right, so we've beat up on the 3.8 long enough. The
Yeah.
3.6 is an engineered overhead dual cam, triple quad, dual.
Yeah,
what do
four
we? It's
cams.
4 cam.
Yep.
So important to note. So like that 2.4 that I was hating on.
It's also overhead cam.
Also overhead cam, and that's high RPM.
This is for all the old people that aren't listening. The reason why everybody goes overhead cam is just a reduction of friction. The closer you can get parts together without levers and rods and other things that connect things, the more horsepower that motor can make, which is also why a little baby 3.6 can make, almost 300 horsepower out of the gate. And that's because the cams are on top of rockers, which are then on top of valves. Where on a 3.8 you have a cam and a lifter and a push rod and then a rocker arm, and then it finally gets to the valve. So you have loss of and then you have friction each time.
right.
if
You have
something touches.
oiling and friction tolerances,
Yep.
right? So we
Which
have
is how we go like 100 and something horse in a 3.8, which is actually a slightly bigger engine, to easy 100 more on a 3.6. And then on the 3.6, the other pluses is Gasket Technology is much better. Yes, they still leak. Yes, they still break down. Yes, things happen. But there is a big difference between that and a 3.8.
And as a guy who really likes, any type of our computer control as far as calibration and general data management, data, kind of mapping and understanding, of course, all the work you've done with the sniper, the technology that allows us to adjust accordingly for environmental and for
It's huge.
so it's huge, and environmental or then just our ratios, our power bands with the 3.6 is superior to the 3.8.
Yes. And it has some sort of VVT where it changes,
VVT, for those who are listening, is variable valve timing,
which basically means they move the cam depending on application, which is another way it gets a bunch of horsepower. Everybody that's watched Fast and Furious and any Honda will know what
buddy.
VTEC is.
Oh, buddy. Oh, this is
You
All
hear
right,
that
we're-
motor change a high RPM, that's the cam's phasing.
Yes, absolutely. So, so the 3.8, the 3.6 brings us into the present.
Yep.
We are in house right now.
Ish. We still have to talk about the 2.0 and the 3.0 diesel.
Are we gonna make a whole nother episode out of
No,
the present?
we can't do this. People are going to start to
Okay, so
they're going to
two-
start to use us for to go to bed at night.
2.0s will totally blow your 3.6 out of the water for more reasons we've already
Did you
explained.
just spill coffee where I had water spilled last week?
No, maybe. and Scott just did fighting words right now, so all the 3.6 people are
Yeah.
like that 2.0 a 4-cylinder is,
Go test drive one.
Oh my god, I love them. I love them.
I
2.0
don't-
turbo.
They're not fun to work on, but they are amazing what they can do.
And then of course the electrification, right,
Yep.
and just the immediate
That
instant
could be a whole
torque.
nother thing.
But we're not going to.
Yeah.
Because we have to put this old fossil fuel conversation to bed.
Uh-oh.
So here
But I like diesels.
I
And I like gas.
I know, me too. I do. But I'm saying we gotta the replacement displacement because
Or is there?
or is there? Because I think there is. And I think that we're seeing that as we progress through forced air induction,
Yep.
high RPMs,
Yep.
less loss of energy through friction and heat energy transference,
Yep.
which is exactly what you're talking about with overhead cam design and variable valve timing, with our current computer control and input that's based on environmental conditions, and then physical conditions of the Jeep, that we are actually finding a replacement for displacement.
Yep. They're slowly trekking that way. And everybody goes, oh.
Blub, 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 blub,
Yeah.
blub of the 392
Yes.
starts to get quieter.
Yes,
The 392 is a very, very cool engine.
it is.
I think we do that because, and we do V8s in TJs and in XJs
Yep.
and in JKs because Hemis and LSs are just flat out cool. They sound great. And we as an American iconic culture are just, we watch Grease Lightning and we want a little bit of that ourselves.
Can't stand that movie.
What?
He
It's
doesn't
a
because
classic.
you know what? Because you and I like it because it actually has like cinematic.
Catchy beat.
Right.
It has cinematic, appeal, and it's important to the history of vehicles
No.
in American culture, in American pop culture.
Correct. In the
This
culture.
man over here can't watch any type of video or a TV or a music video or anything like that because of authenticity. If
Well,
I'm
you mean like Fast and the Furious, where they fake everything?
Yeah,
Yes.
why does my floorboard fall off? Anyway, so in that song, they talk about having the 4-barrel, having 3 deuces. It's a flathead for a minute, then it's overhead
he's
valve.
picking apart Grease Lightning right now, folks.
Why?
You
Just
can
pick
pitchfork
pick
'em.
something.
Pitchfork him.
Absolutely.
Go
Get your
with it.
pitchforks and torches out right now and come after the mad scientist. Understand, I had nothing to do with this conversation. This was not pre-planned, but
No.
Scott hates Grease Lightning.
I do. My wife knows it.
Best
Oh, boy.
engine in a Jeep ever made.
Ooh. AMC V8 is my favorite.
Your favorite? You think that was the best ever made?
I didn't
That's
say
your
best.
favorite.
That's my favorite.
I want to know what does the mad scientist say is the best engine in a Jeep ever made?
I'd say currently, because I haven't got to play with a 3.0 diesel a lot, so I don't have a lot of firsthand
We've
knowledge.
only done some suspension work on the
Yeah.
3.0 diesels.
My favorite or best is the 3.6, I believe, right now, because it's just proof of concept, higher horsepower, decent fuel economy for what it is. It's still a brick. And I daily drive one. It does everything I want it to do and more, including crazy towing of things. Not quite as bad as our blind react, but maybe it's something similar.
I mean,
I
we
totally-
tried to
I
tow a
would-
house with it, so
We
we
did
did
try
try to tow a
towing
house.
houses. I would totally drive
I'd do it again.
that blind react, just so everybody's aware. Folks, tell us what you think. Leave a comment below. Respond
do your
on.
favorite and the best.
I want favorite and best, or favorite or best. Adam says his got a Magnum 5.2 in his TJ.
318.
That's super cool.
Well, we
that's-
love him as well.
Well, right. That is super cool, is what that is. Tell us. Tell us. You can either do it here on Facebook or on YouTube or whatever. We'd love to know what you think the best Jeep engine was, and what do you think? What's your favorite?
And I'm sure I
tell
made
us that.
people cringe with the 3.6, but see, I do love V8s, and I love the AMC V8 because it's unique, it has a cool sound, and it's different.
It does have a cool sound to it. Each one has an interesting sound. We're gonna do that game sometime. We're gonna play sounds.
we
of,
still have product spotlight.
I know. We're going to do hashtag not sponsored, folks. It was, I think we have found that there is a replacement for displacement, unfortunately. Our Eagles are still soaring, just a little differently,
Yeah.
a little faster, a little more tight and articulated. Let's do this. Let's.
And now it's time for our product spotlight. Hashtag not sponsored. Spotlight. Hashtag not sponsored.
So Rock Hard 4x4, for those that don't know, they make bumpers and mount plates for winches and sliders and all kinds of cool stuff. And we have a customer that you think Dalton uses his Jeep. This Jeep has been used, has grown trees in it, all kinds of stuff, and he has Rock Hard products, and they have lived to tell the tale.
He is the Angry Turtle, folks. If you've seen some of our social media, you'll see a number of things called Jeep, a specific Jeep called the Angry Turtle, and some really gnarly stuff where he's wheeling off road and slinging some mud, and great history with Jason. He's just a super cool dude.
Yep.
And he's got an eye for quality, right?
Does.
He doesn't really get caught up in a whole lot of the flash.
No.
And so he was at a show, I mean, honestly, a decade or better ago, and he got to be introduced to Rock Hard 4x4
When they were really unknown.
when they were reasonably unknown in this territory. This market territory is not was not exactly their primary demographic. They are headquartered, I think, out of Nebraska specifically. They are 100% USA. They are one of the most USA-made companies, in my opinion, in the industry, or at least they really do tout themselves as that. The other thing they're super well known for, if you are an RVer, they have actually gone through the process to create bumpers that you can flat toe off of. And so they actually have partnered with Blue Ox, which is a big name in tow bars. And so certainly in their area to west, a lot of people recognize Rock Hard as this formidable manufacturer for towed off-road rigs. Jason has the full skid package.
Yep.
And he's got the front and rear bumpers. Their coating has held up wonderfully with all the abuse.
And the best part is they have rebuild packs for like his tire carrier and stuff that did, from lack of maintenance, needed some love. And we were able to coax it all apart and replace all the wear items and put it back on. And is now beating on it some more.
Yep.
And one of the best things, one of the things that made us think about it is I'm personally really excited about is Rock Hard likes to look at things a little differently. And there's a lot of JT customers out there that they want to go out and use their Jeep and they need a winch and they don't want to have to worry about that, but they don't want to buy a cheap throwaway bumper at the same time, or the bumper and the winch that suddenly makes it a very expensive package and you can't quite swing all that. So they have made a plate that literally bolts onto the factory plastic bumper, and you're thinking like, how is this possible to actually work? It's really well engineered. It does this cool cantilever thing off the factory tow hooks. It's very well thought out, and then you can then put an appropriately sized winch on that plate. And we have put one on a customer's Jeep, older man that just wanted the security of having a winch in that situation when you should always have a buddy and you should always have a strap and you should always that, but then there's reality and that doesn't always happen.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you have to be your own solving the problem. So
Self-recover. That
Self-recover.
was the topic, I don't know, 10 episodes ago. And Jeffrey just did this install.
And Jeff just did this install on his Jeep. Ironically, after trying to pull out a stuck car, and the 4 paws on the dirt wouldn't quite do it, and I went over there with my winch, and it was right out.
Yeah, and it's important to note the Italian Stallion has this really cool built hydro blue Gladiator. This is no slouch, right?
No.
It's
got good tires on it.
Good tires,
lift kit,
good lift. Everything's great on the truck.
Yep.
And it sat in the slop and just kind of loaded up the tires, and then you went out with a winch and just everything out.
Yeah.
So Rock Hard, specifically the plate or the product that we want to talk about, is this uniquely engineered winch plate and then add-on bull bar.
Yep.
And the way that it attaches, you actually retain your factory JL or JT bumper. there's a lot of people who, especially our customers who go to the dealership and buy a vehicle. That vehicle, when you see it on the dealership, oftentimes creates a lasting imprint of how you see your final build looking.
Yep.
So if the wheels are black or, kind of have a little fun pattern on them or something, oftentimes we have customers coming in going, well, actually, I really want to keep my wheels because I really like them, but I want a bigger tire.
Yep.
Things like that. And likewise, the front bumper is a kind of an attractive bumper. I mean, it's not
They've made
bumpers
worse.
yeah, they've made worse. and so so the big thing with Rock Hard is they've taken the engineering and the knowledge they have from making sure that their bumpers are tow rated, meaning that they can be, the Jeep can be towed behind an RV, and they use the tow hooks as a structural fastening.
Really, it's cool because one of the things I love about engineering is people can look at a problem from a different direction and find a unique solution to it. And as a human, we always want to sometimes get in that track, and we always, I gotta go this way, it gotta be this way.
Mhm.
And then you get somebody else comes in from the side, and they go, well, why don't we do it this way? And you're like, I don't know. Why didn't we do that?
Yeah.
And that's this plate in a nutshell. It's really looking at it differently. And at the same time, I have no hesitation. It's going to work beautiful for a long time.
And I think we've seen an acceptance grow in the last 10 years. Previously, we had to have this really robust, kind of overbuilt winch plate and big, fat winch bumper.
Yep.
As winches became smaller, so has their attachment points.
Yep.
And not to say that makes it any, less, it makes it inferior.
No.
It's just we know what's absolutely critical.
Yep.
And so now having
And
a
you can
2-inch
fit
mount.
a 10K pound winch on this
Yeah.
plate.
Jeffrey, what do you have on yours, winch-wise?
I did the 10K.
You did?
Yep.
Uh,
It is a tight fit with this winch plate. There are in Rock Hard's description, they actually talk about different winches may or may not fit.
Mhm.
Some may be tighter than others. Here's actually what it looks like on the Jeep.
Nice. Nice.
So we have a VR Warren, it looks like, on there,
Yep. VR10.
which is it's a close relative to what I have on my Jeep. And I have, always loved Donic, polished it, covered it up nicely, of course. And it's been a very good service for me.
so that's the Warn VR10. It is the steel cable.
Yep.
There's a whole other conversation can be had about steel and synthetic.
Yep.
Love to have that as a topic in the near future. But definitely you can see that finished product. It looks super cool. It looks, like it should be there. And then he doesn't have to worry about messing with his fog lights right now and, having to buy a
And
bumper.
He's not adding a ton of weight too. That's another concern we hear often is like, I don't want to put, all this weight on the front of my Jeep, and I just lifted it, and now I'm gonna squat the nose back down.
Absolutely.
So this is a good compromise.
Big
for that as well.
conversation we have to have regularly with customers.
Yep.
All right, folks. Excuse me. If you are not asleep, still enjoying us,
We're gonna
or
wake you up
maybe
here.
you've scrubbed through YouTube and now you're here at the end, you can watch Scott and I.
Pictionary.
Oh, it's not just Scott and you. This time it's the Savage and I challenging you guys
Oh boy.
in Pictionary.
We are going to play Pictionary for your entertainment, apparently.
Whose team's on who?
What are we doing?
Savage wanted to challenge you guys. Here,
What are we doing?
We're just
Throw it
gonna
down.
transition over.
All
Let's-
right, here we go.
Now it's time for another game,
Oh my.
which means another transition.
Were you watching a horror film when you made this? I think he was watching like a marathon.
Davey Thompson, Jeff Sherman, Neil Simpson, and Scott Brown. Who makes it out alive?
Oh God.
Davey, you want to head over here?
Folks, you are going to get. Can they hear me? Oh, you are going to get to see the Savage and the Italian Stallion on screen while this is happening. Oh, Savage! There he. Look at that face. He's so cute.
Nice.
All right,
Right with the bunny ears. So
right with the bunny ears. First thing he does.
So I guess Davey challenged you guys to this, and I got
I think
suckered into it.
Jeff's.
So
Oh, I thought Jeff was going to try to skirt that for a second.
Yeah, right. Why do we have like a Jigsaw inspired
Right?
intro? That's what I want to
What
know.
in the world were you watching when you were?
Somebody's getting locked in a closet or a
I
basement.
literally, as I was making it, I'm like, you know what? I've done the gospel list kind of thing. I've done rock. I've done
So now we're
country.
on
So I'm like,
Halloween.
oh, we gotta do some kind of
some little
creepy
Okay.
like.
creepy like.
Okay. So do we need to be able to see this screen behind us here?
I can only see this rock hard thing
Yeah,
in front
so
of me.
So we're gonna take that down for now.
Okay.
And we're gonna have to share the microphones here.
Oh, boy.
So you two will stand off to that side, or off one side. Davey and I will stand off to the other side. I don't know who gets to go first, but we have a
Well,
bag.
if you did the game and
Didn't
you
you
don't
make
know
up the game?
and you don't know who goes first,
Okay,
aren't we
fine.
in
You
trouble?
guys get to go first.
I don't know how we play. What are the
Yeah.
rules?
I
What
didn't get any introduction.
I have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah.
This
Have
is
you
not
guys ever played
unusual.
Pictionary?
This is not.
No.
Yeah, at some point. I
So
mean, it's
what'll
been a long
happen is-
time.
As a team, one
Uh-huh.
of you will draw a word from the hat
Yes,
or bag,
yes.
and then the person that draws it will have to draw on the board,
Yes.
and the other teammate has to guess what it is.
It's just like charades, but with drawing.
Yeah, you cannot draw numbers, you cannot draw letters,
Meh.
Okay.
and you cannot use gestures or vocalize any hints.
Okay. Deep breath. Here we go.
And for some reason, Davey thinks this is a good idea. I cannot draw, just so everybody knows, so this is going to
Okay.
be bad.
All right. This is perfect. Here
I'm
we go.
drawing. You're speaking.
Okay.
We're over there.
Not everybody can't hear us.
They can hear us.
Okay.
I believe in Jeff's ability. To,
So, Scott, you get to draw. Here's a couple other markers.
do we have a timer? What do we do? I mean, we're just.
When do I start drawing?
Let's get the timer going. Where did the timer go?
I don't know. This is.
Gotta ask that media guy.
I was gonna say, who's the producer here?
So you'll have
Everybody's just logged off now to go get lunch.
Right.
correct. So you have 10 seconds, or we'll do 60 seconds. Do that, so you have a full minute.
What do we? Oh, I was checking messages from customers. God forbid.
All right, squirrel.
Snowflakes.
Well, that was easy. Okay.
Looks nothing like a snowflake.
I was thinking the same thing. I would have never have guessed that.
I thought you did an excellent job making
you're in trouble.
I think you did an excellent job doing a snowflake.
Okay, Davey, you're drawing for us. Ready?
Timer. God, we got a minute. Davey's right-handed. He's got a. Jeff, you're a lefty, aren't you?
I am lefty.
Yeah. Davey's very specific on what he's. Holy, what is he? What it? Folks, you can't see this, but I mean, right now
It's tiny.
it's very small.
Is it a crib?
Ah.
Good job, Davey.
All right. It looks like a small child jail, which I mean is kind of what a crib is. I mean, it technically is a crib. All right. We go?
Yep.
A lamp?
Davey.
supposed to-
Davey.
Davey is
Davey.
Thanks, Davey.
Wrong
Thanks,
team.
Davey. Good job, Davey. It
Point,
was a-
point for them. Thanks, Davey.
Yeah.
You did not explain these rules.
You challenged us We are a team over here.
Yeah.
You are a team over
You
there.
you just scored in our basket, Davey.
All right. All right. Let's see if you can tie it up, and then let's, I don't know, maybe do work today.
Yeah, something like that. What?
Perfect.
What? Okay.
And Jeff already said he can't draw.
I thought you were a southpaw. Why are you over here?
Left, so that you can see the board.
Why
Oh,
wouldn't you draw? You're all right, so we drew over there. You.
Just let it.
What
Just
is
let
that? I.
Nothing.
Oh my God.
What'd you
What
say?
is? I saw that in a video once. You can't
told
see
you I
what's
couldn't
going
draw.
on, but
I think they
There.
can.
Oh boy.
oh,
Fishing?
No.
I want to know if anybody at home thinks what the timer's not running because
I
just
think
feeling the heat.
I think we took that one, Neil.
It was supposed to be thread.
What?
Needle, thread, spool of thread.
Oh my God. And on
Okay,
that note, we're going to work on Jeeps because that's what we're actually really good at. So, folks, if you're still with us, we sincerely appreciate your viewership. Please keep in mind to log on to our website or reach out to us. $4.19. This sticker supports this show. Make sure that we can keep making fun infotainment content for you. If your Jeep is here, we really appreciate you trusting your prized possession with us and allowing us to work on it. And obviously, make sure you leave us a review if you haven't already on your favorite social platform or streaming site or on YouTube. Link some of those comments. Tell us about your favorite engines. Folks, we've had a great program. We really appreciate you being part of it. So make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, enjoy seeing and joining us in this process. So until then, Jeep family, Jeep on.
Jeep on.